It's been years after the apartheid era in South Africa, and it's the blacks running the business, running things in South Africa. But the fact that there was a template that was put in place, they've been able to build and continue on that template.
Okay.
Now, in our own case, well, some persons may not agree, but I believe our independence was premature. It came too early.
What has been your biggest pain point in ministry? And if given a chance to solve that, what will it be?
Mothers tend to be soft towards their male children, their sons.
Yeah.
And fathers seem to be soft towards their daughters.
Yeah.
So if a man is raising the daughter, he wouldn't want to bring up so much pressure on her. He would want her to be comfortable around his space, but forgetting that this woman is not just my daughter, she's going to be somebody other person's wife. So by the time she becomes a wife and the man begins to say some things from the place of his masculinity, she would see it like oppression. Hence, we have things like women not wanting to submit now because my father did not compel me to submit. So why is this dude trying to make me submit? Why is he oppressing me?
I know I met you in South Africa. I think we'll start from there. How was it like being a man from Nigeria, navigating your life in South Africa as a man? How was that world for you?
Well, it wasn't quite easy. I cannot come now to say, oh, there's an available space here. Let me quickly build a shack there. No, you can't. But in Nigeria, you've built a house. They gave an approval. And you look at it, I still have some space. So, and you come and you want to adopt some other things without proper approval. I saw some Nigerian guys doing that in South Africa. They buy a property, and the way the property was structured is that this property is not supposed to have more than 2 back rooms. The back rooms that are supposed to be there were supposed to be 2, not more than 2. Why? Because that's the plan. That's the template. Yeah. But the Nigerian guy buys the property. Say, oh, these guys are wasting land. And he adds 3 more to make it 5.
When you look at the leadership ecosystem of Nigeria, what is lacking?
We don't understand leadership.
Huh?
We don't understand leadership. So when we talk about leadership template, we don't understand leadership. What we know is rulership. We don't understand leadership.
Wow. No, say it again.
We don't have a leadership template in Nigeria. We know rulership. How to oppress, bring people down. Leadership actually shows you the way and helps you get there. Leadership is going into ministry. A pastor said to me, be careful of old prophets.
Okay.
That was what he said. There are a lot of things that he said, but that was one thing he said. He said it several times. Be careful of old prophets. Be careful of old prophets. Okay, there are many pastors, but few fathers.
True.
A father derives joy in the success of the son.
Yeah.
A pastor may not be bothered.
The effect of an absent father, how has that played a major role in shaping you today?
I think maybe that's one of the reasons why, well, I'm glad God had not allowed me got married up until this time.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be good to get married as a man and your wife begin to see you as a feminine man. Because if you don't have proper diagnosis, you can't have right treatment. So you must be able to diagnose yourself.
Hello, family. Welcome again to another segment of your show, the AfriOne Show. And today promises to be all things men's conversations. And I'm still here in Nigeria. For those of you who are wondering why am I here in Nigeria, to be precise, Lagos. I've been in and out of Lagos and Abuja. And so I must say it's actually an interesting country. For those of you who literally want to do business in Nigeria, I think one of the places I would say is come up with a business idea that has to do with system in this country. One of the big lapses I've seen thus far is the fact that we struggle with systematic structure in this country, number one. And number two, also within the medical side of things, which has to do with like your insurance. And for those of you who literally want to explore that side, it's going to be a good business for you. The next place again will be in the place of recycling. We have a lot of wasted product lying around that can be taken advantage of. And also the big one, which is about feeding the nation. You will not go wrong with this 3 that I mentioned. I don't like talking about property because it's literally a risky environment to be in within the Nigeria ecosystem of things. But with that being said, this is not just about me. I have a beautiful friend of mine Handsome guy, single. I can say that clearly with no doubt. I don't need him to interpret that part, but I can say it. Very single, very available for those of you who is going to hear him talk today, especially my ladies, all the way from the south side of life, not West Africa, but the south side. You can actually inbox me and I'll try as much as possible to make sure that you get this guy. I know he doesn't like what I'm doing, but it's okay. The highest he will do is the fact that he would defriend me. But ladies and gentlemen, join me welcome my very good friend. This is somebody who has helped me in my journey of ministry. The first guy who would literally give me material for me to understand me. I know you would have forgotten, but I remember.
Okay.
Where by the time I came in and you notice you and the so-called significant other at that time, I don't want to mention name, they decided to set me up and put me in the line of ministry. But he was kind enough for him to be able to give me materials for me to be able to read. And I remember one day he came to my studio, Dexterity Radio then, and I just saw this bag. I was thinking that, okay, it's this guy doing blood money. Only for me to open it. Only for me to open it, and I was seeing a lot of books. I'm like, what the hell? But obviously, ever since then, he's been a wonderful friend to the point that we are blood. I actually have two best friends. I can say that one of them is the one sitting here. And so the other one, you know yourself, hey, blood. That's how I'll say it. That's the name we call ourselves. But nonetheless, Jeremy, welcome. My very good friend. He's a businessman. He's going to tell us what he is doing so that I don't mess things up for him. But above all, I can tell you that he's a Jesus boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy, welcome. Anthony Enike Omoaka. Welcome to AfriOne Show.
Thank you, blood.
So who am I talking to?
Good to be on the show.
Finally.
Good to be on the show.
That show actually started from Nigeria, but I'm from South Africa.
South Africa.
And so he's in South Africa. We'll talk about South Africa just now, but welcome to AfriOne Show.
Good to be on the show. Thank you. And viewers, good to be here. And all that he has said, I also have a lot to say. For those of you around the southern part of Africa, you will understand that the way pronunciations of words like man goes in the south is different from West Africa.
Okay.
Man, M-A-N, is pronounced as men in the southern part of Africa.
Men, yeah.
Why here, man is singular. So I'm going to do it this way. The man here is not a man, but is a man.
Yes.
He's several people in one. And one thing I like about him is you don't need to start discerning his position. If it's a yes, you know. If it's a no, you see it. He's very plain, very transparent, very, 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 very easygoing. And I like his dexterity.
I like
his dexterity, Some of us, we second guess, we want to process things, we want to take time, we want to go cool, we want to go soft, easy and all that. But once it comes to his mind, he's pursuing, he's chasing. I'm like, dude, you didn't even think it through. So we'll get a class, we're going. So he's not a writer of visions, he's a runner with visions. Some of us will write and document, God said, oh, we had this thought. But what are you writing, bro? You've got the idea, start running. And as you're running, ideas will begin to come in and it will become massive and it will be something that will be worthwhile. Good to be on your show, brother.
Thank you so much. And all of a sudden, I thought that I'm the one who's going to do. Well, it looks as if he's interviewing me now, but nonetheless. But to those people who don't know you, obviously I know you, our other blood know you and stuff. But for the general public who is watching you for the very first time, who is Anthony? Let's start there.
Anthony's a man. Anthony's a
what comprises Anthony to be the one sitting in front of us currently now?
Anthony is a man who's been through has had his own fair share of life.
Okay.
Like we're discussing. I think we'll go into all of that much later on.
Yeah.
Navigating from being a boy to become a man wasn't a very easy journey for him. But Anthony as a person is a man who loves God, who has been with God for years, who has seen both sides of life, and has now been able to pitch tent with God and pitch tent with the marketplace.
Okay.
So Anthony is a Christian, he's a Nigerian, he's not married. You've said it before, let me say it again. And he's a businessman, a fashion enthusiast, a growth enthusiast, and that's it. That's Anthony for you.
I think you said something for me that I want to really take our conversations from there. Like I said, it's all things about men. So for those of you who are ladies, you will enjoy these conversations because single, and he'll be able to tell us some certain things that is happening within the single ecosystem of things.
Keep rubbing it in.
I just need you guys to take this guy away, like literally. He's a good guy.
I can tell you point blank. I remember the time you advertised me on Facebook.
And a lot of ladies reach out, but he was not available. Because I remember one lady said to me that I inboxed him, he's not responding. I'm like, I did my part.
Maybe I was just scared.
So ladies who are coming say he's scared, come with the mind.
Maybe I wanted to go the path of Apostle Paul, not looking at, let's look beyond the natural things and let heaven be the goal.
So he's heavily minded. We are still trying to make sure that he understands it. But you said something in terms of your introduction, navigating manhood for you. Mm-hmm. I know I met you in South Africa. I think we'll start from there. How was it like being a man from Nigeria, navigating your life in South Africa as a man? How was that world for you?
Well, it wasn't quite easy. Not quite easy for me because growing up, I didn't grow up having a father figure.
Okay.
I didn't grow up having a present father.
Okay.
When you go to an hospital and there's a visiting doctor and a resident doctor, the way things play out are quite different. A resident doctor, when there is an emergency, you can easily get him. But a visiting doctor, you have to wait till the time that he will show up. So I didn't have a resident father, but I had visiting fathers like pastors at church, teachers at school, maybe some other family members, people who were much older who could in some way give you guidance. So largely, the narrative of transformation from boyhood to manhood is the sole responsibility of the fathers.
True.
We thank God and appreciate mothers for their love, their sacrifices, their resilience and all that. But the role, the duty of raising boys into men lies with the fathers. And no matter how the mothers try to do it, there will be some defect in the life of that boy in his process of, transformation from being a boy to becoming a man. So I had those things to deal with. Say, for instance, I had issues of not knowing how to accept authority. Because authority for me was like condemnation, was like someone trying to bully me. But when you're at home and your father says, stop that, you take it as authority. So you are used to it. But your mother wouldn't just go that straight. Your mother would want to sugarcoat it. Even if she wants to be firm, her feminine side would not allow her have that strong grip as much as your father would do. So when I left Nigeria, I got to South Africa, there was no, family member, so to say. Yes, I had some family friend with whom I was staying. I still had those issues. I had to now be in a place where I have to think for myself, fight for myself, work things out for myself. And it wasn't easy. But I'm glad I went through that process because it developed a lot of things within me. And it helped me become better.
I'm tempted to ask you, now that we're talking about manhood stuff, let me rephrase it. The effect of an absent father, how has that played a major role in shaping you today?
I think maybe that's one of the reasons why, I'm glad God had not allowed me got married up until this time.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be good to get married as a man and your wife begin to see you as a feminine man.
So there's a word called feminine man.
You're a feminine man because...
Can you expatiate on that word, feminine man?
Your masculinity
is feminine.
Is now feminine. Okay, let me put it.
Okay,
let me try and put it in practice. Men are known for precision. When they want to say something, they say it precisely, they go straight to the point. But women are known for going in circles. And you are like, Madam, hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
And she keeps going in circles. So I had that at some point, that instead of just saying something straight,
I'll talk your take, go
I'll
your
just
way.
go and go and go and go. And, these things are not easy.
True.
Not everybody is easy, can come out boldly to explain how it was for them. But I believe it's part of healing. It's part of growth because I was there. And some people will be like, you know what? I don't want to deal with another woman.
Okay, I'm tempted to ask you now, in your process of relationship as a man, or probably as a boy transcending into manhood and stuff, and when I'm talking about relationship with
People.
opposite sex, so
Okay, with ladies.
with ladies, yeah, good old ladies, because these things we do, we have to be very clear.
Just be direct. Hit it straight.
As in, I don't want wahala before you people now come and say, what is Darlington trying to say now? With your relationship with opposite sex, do you want to say that there are those moments where, because you don't have a direct masculinity guiding you, it affects some of the relationship that was supposed to be something of value to you today?
Yes. I had such experiences.
Okay.
For instance, men don't nag.
Men don't nag?
Yeah, men don't nag. Men, when they have something they want to correct, they just correct it and they leave you to get it fixed. But women would flog the issue and flog the issue and flog the issue and keep flogging it, which is nagging.
Yeah.
And I had certain persons that I was in a relationship with that I'll nag them. To me, I didn't see it as nagging them because, you can't operate beyond your level of knowledge and exposure.
True.
At that time, I saw it as the best because that was what I was exposed to. Coming back from home, it was mommy nagging, saying it 300 times for you to get it. But daddy would just say it once and you've got to run with what he has said. So I had to say things over and over again. I'm like, yo, this man, you are nagging us. And even though they loved you, it could have blossomed into something good. They got tired.
Wow. So which means for attempted, and please hear me, this is a show for men, so women, somehow you may not like it. But now, the effect of knowing too well that a boy child is raised by the mother alone, has that contributed positively to the ecosystem of relationship that now, this is me now saying it generally, in terms of authority, in terms of leadership, in terms of navigating your vision, in terms of clarity and all of that? How has that played a role from a single mother raising a boy child alone, or even married, but the man is not present? How has that affected the ecosystem in terms of helping the boy child who is now becoming a man to relate with one another out there?
Okay, thank you for that. I think, let me use my own personal experience. When I was going through the things I was going through, I was privileged to get connected with certain pastors.
Okay.
And I remember there was a pastor in particular who came to my mother's house and dragged me out. And I was going to stay with him. As a matter of fact, he exposed me to so many things. The first time I read the Bible, it was him. The first time I fasted, it was him. The first time I went out on evangelism, it was him. The first things of my life
was him.
Were, came through that man. So he came in to help. And much later on, I had to learn, based on what I learned from him, to begin to seek guidance and draw strength from men through their materials.
Okay.
Books. And there was one lady I met who became a single mother of 2 boys. A Zimbabwean. Okay. And I said to her, I said, go get the book Emotions by T.D. Jakes. And I said, it will help you understand men first and try to expose your son to that knowledge of men from this book coming from a man, and then begin to guide them to be around men. It will help them because men, I know that there are many women who are visionary, who pursue things, great things, they do great things. And but there's a difference. We celebrate them. We celebrate them.
Thank you.
But they cannot be as strong as the men. I knew of certain times my mother wouldn't know when she would be crying silently. She would come out acting strong, but she was dying inside. A lot of things were not going on well for her internally. So in navigating from being a boy to becoming a man, the mother has a role to play. the father has a role to play. If for any reasons the father is dead and there's that vacuum, it is very important for the mother to deliberately, consciously expose that child, that male child, to credible men.
Okay.
Because what you are exposed to, you can easily reflect.
All right.
You know, by the time you see how your father addresses things, you will know how to address things. By the time you see how your mother addresses things, you will know how to address it. It goes both ways. There are many ladies who were also raised by their fathers. And you know, one thing I discovered about parenting, mothers tend to be soft towards their male children, their sons. And fathers seem to be soft towards their daughters. So if a man is raising the daughter, he wouldn't want to bring up so much pressure on her. He would want her to be comfortable around his space, but forgetting that this woman is not just my daughter, she's going to be some other person's wife. So by the time she becomes a wife and the man begins to say some things from the place of his masculinity, she would see it like oppression. Hence, we have things like women not wanting to submit now because my father did not compel me to submit. So why is this dude trying to make me submit? Why is he oppressing me? And by the time the boy who was raised by the mother is expected to stand up and man up, he'll be like, but my mother never put me under such pressure. Why is society so trying to just make me, why are they becoming too hard on me? I remember that there were certain things that I had to learn myself. Growing up, I didn't know how to wash plates. I didn't know how to sweep the house. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to even do anything. I couldn't wash my own clothes. Why? Because my mom was so protective of me. She had just two of us left, you know, other children that she had passed on, my elder sister and myself. And I was in the midst of ladies. My grandmother, my mother, my sister, the girls working for my mother, you know. So I was in the midst of ladies. I was exposed to ladies. I don't wash. I don't do anything. So if I had grown like that into marriage, my wife would have had a lot of work to do because she would sweep the house, she would mop the house, she would cook, she would go to the market, she would do laundry, she would do everything. And if she's trying to ask me to help her, I'll be like, why is she putting me under unnecessary pressure? So if you are a single mother, you have male children, please look for credible men and expose those boys to those men. Otherwise, if you don't do that, their masculinity will be defective. Same applies to ladies. There are certain ladies who, because of how they grew around their father, tend to want to usurp the authority of their husbands. You know, so it goes both ways.
All right. I think with what you were saying, the reason I'm quiet is because from my own standpoint, one of the things I like saying to people, I said, the man first love is his mother.
Yeah.
Why the girl first love is the father. And so I think, as you're saying, I was processing in my brain to say, okay, fine. So somehow the reason why some certain ladies or even guys will not be able to function properly in relationship is because of the foundation of things that they were exposed to either or from the both sex. I mean, from the opposite parent.
Exactly.
Now, my question that I want to throw to you now would be this. How then do you, for example, from your standpoint as a single man, ready to mingle? I hope so. I need to ask and stuff. Ready to mingle, understanding your ecosystem of how things are for you now. What conversations will you like to have to fellow guys like your kind who is struggling? Because remember, this is a men's show talk. Who is struggling in terms of navigating to say, okay, because there are stuff I choose to believe that you have dropped in your ways. Like, for example, you were talking about not knowing how to wash before, but now I choose to believe that you know how to wash.
Definitely. I cook, man. I cook.
I'm not saying so
I cook.
I don't know, maybe the mom is
no,
it's still sitting here.
That part is gone.
That part is gone. All right, I'm happy you say so, but what must happen for the boy child going to be a man who is going to marry somebody to become a husband? What must happen to such person who are still stuck with this so-called, this is how I was brought up, but yet they want to experience life with a significant opposite sex?
The first thing you need to do is you must be able to identify and recognize who you are. What I mean is...
But the guy knows he's a man.
No. It got to a point, I always felt I was a man, and, well, I was actually a man because I was always doing things with the opposite sex, so I was a man. But it got to a point I had to sit down. I had to reflect, look over my life, asked myself some tough questions. I was naked before myself to say, okay, what exactly are the things
when he says naked before himself, I'm thinking, there's a picture that came to my mind.
That's not the nakedness I'm talking about, actually. But I had to sit with myself. I had to sit with myself and say, look, boy, you have to tell yourself the truth. Like the scripture says, examine yourself.
Yeah.
So I had to do a lot of self-examination.
Okay.
And I asked myself a question. This your friend. This your neighbor. This your classmate. People whom are guys that have been around. What are the differences between you and them? For them, they were not as petty as I was. Okay? So I had to tell myself, Anthony, deal with it, you are petty.
So like a hard conversation.
Hard conversations with myself. Anthony, deal with it, you are petty. Anthony, deal with mood swings. Anthony deal with certain things that were truly not common with the masculine guys. So for you to be able to move from where you are as a boy raised by your mother, you must first of all sit with yourself, have a conversation with yourself. Identify and list out the things that are not in order, that are out of order. And as you identify them, because if you don't have proper diagnosis, you can't have right treatment. So you must be able to diagnose yourself. These are the areas I'm defective. These are the areas I'm not doing well. These are the areas that I have issues. These are the areas that I have problems with. And by the time you identify them, you now begin to look out for people who have strength in those areas.
Okay.
And begin to connect with those people, because iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. Like, for instance, being around your space has helped me to be more dogged in the marketplace, because I know how dogged you are, how challenges would come, and you wouldn't flinch. You will be like, okay, we'll get over this. We'll overcome this storm. We'll get to the other side. But before, I'll just say, I'll let it go. So there are a lot of things that I could have done, but I just let them go because I faced the storm, I faced the challenge, and I felt there's no way. There's no need. So you identify people who have got strength in the areas of your weakness, and you connect with them. It could be physical, it could be virtual, it could be through their materials, books, and all of that. Get a mentor along those areas. And by associating with people who have strength in the areas of your weakness, over time, you pick up their strength, and that weakness will disappear.
All right, you've just heard what my guest is saying currently. For those of you who are currently now, maybe you are a single, you're brought up by your mother, whether your dad is there or not and stuff, and you've just heard what he has said currently, and you're struggling. Please, I want to encourage you to use the email that is currently available on the screen, and let's reach out. This is a men's corner whereby we talk all things men, and also try as much as possible to begin to become vulnerable. Because one of the things there that I would want to ask you as we prepare to go on a break, for you to think about it, we see this conundrum that is currently happening around the fact that we don't get men-to-men support that much. Where the advice that men get is the whole concept of men don't cry. You have to be strong and stuff. You try as much as possible for you to be able to get that guy to be by your side becomes a huge problem. The question I want to ask you as we prepare to go on a break is, what needs to change for a man? And this is not a man who is brought up by single parents and stuff. Now, second segment, we're going to be talking about all things men. What needs to change for a man to become more accountable? Do we have system that empowers men to become vulnerable, but yet still continue their masculinity and yet not be judged from the so-called men's side of things? And also, when we look at the man in Nigeria as a nation, especially within the spiritual side of things, do we have direct replicas of people who can help us to become the man that can take the next baton, or probably the manhood of the Nigerian man is dead? We just have people who are just flinching in their emotions. Welcome to AfriOne Show, and that's how we do it. So please use the email that's available on the screen, and let's get talking on all things manhood here on this very particular show with your host, the Afropolitan Apostle, Darlington Steve. I'll be right back on the second segment. Don't go anywhere. Hello, family. We're back again on the second segment right here, discussing about all things men from the standpoint of running the man's life and running the world of a man. The question I asked to you before we went on a break, which is all things men in this very particular second segment, and I want to just paraphrase it to become easier. Do you think that in our generation where we are currently, from your own standpoint, your own views, your own opinion, that we have men who are willing to hand batons to men, or men who are willing to become vulnerable to lift the other men up? Or is still each man for themselves, God for us all?
Well, I think times have changed. We have this evolution of knowledge and seasons, exposures.
Okay.
So people are beginning to reckon with the fact that they must be deliberate about teaching the male child how to be men.
Okay.
And there's also the need for the male child to recognize and reach out, because it's a two-way thing. Whilst we have fathers who are willing to help you, you must also be available to receive and assist.
Question I need to ask, are you sure we do still have fathers who are willing to help?
Yeah, we do have. There may not be many. There may be a fewer number, but we have them.
But how come we see in our generations, as us as men currently, we have a lot of initiatives that are out there that is more for women than for men?
That's because, generally speaking, like I said, there are few people who are available, but they are not as many as, you'll find, because people have there's this belief that men don't need help. Men should be able to sort it out themselves. I had a friend. He calls me a friend, but I always refer to him as daddy.
Okay.
He will say, my friend, my brother. He uses the word brother more. He's a missionary. And sometimes when we sit to talk, I learned how to be more vulnerable from him.
Okay.
He will speak to me freely. As a matter of fact, he's one of the most honest and transparent person I've ever seen. If he's coming to your house now and he's at the gate, and you ask him, you call him, where are you? He wouldn't say, I'm in your house. You say, I am at the gate entrance to your house. He's so transparent. So when I saw how easy it was for him to open up to me, I had to start opening up to him.
Okay.
And I had to start learning. That gave him opportunity to begin to pour into me. So fathers, generally we have little programs, as in not much programs for men. We have Save the Girl Initiative. We have Liberty for Women, Girls Uprightness Fund. A lot of things going on for ladies, but few things are going on for men for two reasons.
Okay.
One, people believe that men don't need help. Two, even the younger generation of men don't even see it like I need anybody to guide me.
Okay.
I can figure things out myself. But we are not doing it the right way. I was talking with somebody recently. We're talking about marriage. Oh, they're going again about marriage. And we had to reach a point where we said, as much as we say ladies of this generation are not acting like the mothers of the previous generation, we also have a lot of men of this generation who are not acting like the fathers
of previous
generation. So that gap, that vacuum is because there's a gap.
Okay.
In those days, in the days of our fathers, they learnt by observation and also by instruction. They were physically present with their fathers. They didn't have a lot of things taking fathers away. You go to the farm with your father, you observe how he does the things he does, and he calls you in the evening. You guys sit somewhere and he begins to tell you history. How this happened, how that happened, and what to do. So it was much easier. But times have changed. Like I said, we have evolution of time. So it's now more difficult. So more than ever before, the fathers have to be more intentional.
Okay.
And the children, the male children, must now understand that, see, of course, there's this spirit of
domineering.
Like daddy can instruct me.
Okay, I hear you.
All those things.
The Gen Zs and the Gen Alpha.
and the Gen Alphas. You know? But then we need to reach out. I was always going to pastors then, asking questions, and being around certain of my friends. it wasn't quite easy because some friends would be like, this guy's a boring guy. Like, they wouldn't want to associate with you. And you were trying to associate. Why? Because you needed to be around them.
the men, yeah.
You need to be around the men. And some of the fathers who you were even, another twist, another side to this whole thing is, some of the fathers you would open up to say, sir, I need a father figure in my life. I was raised by my mother. I don't understand much about what it means to be a man. Now you are relating with them. You are vulnerable with them. You are explaining and expressing things to them. And they go on like, I can't deal with this guy.
Is it not because, and this is leading me to my next question now, is it not because of the lack of financial powers that men are using now to select who they mentor? Or it's just a fact of, I have been bruised enough time to the point that I don't have energy to be bruised again?
I think both are right, but in adding to that, I also see it like not everybody has the grace or the heart for mentorship.
Not everybody has the
grace and the heart for mentorship. Because when you are mentoring someone, not like what we see today as you buy your way into becoming a mentee, you force your way into becoming a mentee. As much as the mentee
also, you agree that there is a buying and a forcing?
There's a buying and there's a selling.
Wow.
As much as that applies,
is one honest Nigerian of saying thus far.
As much as that is that the mentee must be hungry for growth, there's a place of the mentor reaching out. There's a place of the mentor reaching out. Why I could mention his name, Pastor Solomon David.
Solomon David.
He's a person, my first pastor. You know, he did a lot of first things for me. He reaches out. I have another pastor. The first pastor I served with, I was his assistant pastor. He keeps reaching out, Pastor Ayobani. He keeps reaching out. I have you. Apostle Darlington. I have a friend of mine, Promise Ihimiri. I learned the furniture business from him.
Yeah.
He keeps reaching out. I have a lot of people, that I can call who keep reaching out. He keep reaching out. And it's not like, they only reach out. I also do reach out. But you can see that there is this, I reach out, you reach out, the left hand and the right hand are coming for each other, and then you get the job done. But it's sad to see that when, just like a patient coming to a doctor to say, doctor, look, I'm sick. You meet a doctor who will tell you, no deposit, no treatment. And you meet another doctor who will tell you, we have a policy of payment before treatment. However, this is how far I can go. Try and see what you can do to make up. There's a difference.
True.
One, it's about business for him. The other, it's about passion. So we need to have, as much as men should be strong, and the process should be rigid and well structured, we need more passion. Because in trying to be men, in trying to be strong, let me bring it to the home. The reason you need the discipline of the father and the love of the mother is for you to be balanced.
True.
Because if there is no balance, you also will have children. You won't also be able to play with your children. Stand up, sit down, go. They can't talk to you. Why? Because you are too rigid. So there must be that place of balance.
I think, sorry to pause you. I think as you were talking in place of balance, one of the things that is coming, because I actually wanted to go to the scripture so that I don't miss it.
Okay.
The story that happened in the place of First Kings chapter, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's First Kings chapter 13, the old and the young prophet.
Yeah.
You know that story?
Yes, sir.
Now for me, I think I'm going to do something on that very particular listing whereby I pulled out 15 pointers that men stroke so-called fathers need to be aware of for the young generations. Now, that's a talk for another day. It has nothing to do with him. But for me, I want to use that as a context on your own side. we get to see this very particular young man, because this is me shifting now to the place of, because you keep talking about pastors, which means you stay within the so-called Christianity side of things. Yeah. I choose to believe that you're Christian. Is that also?
I am.
Yeah, I ask questions. I don't assume.
Yeah, it's good you're asking. I am.
Now, we see this, you know, the story of the young and the old. And sometimes one of the things that pains me with that very particular story, among so many things, is the fact that this old prophet understands that this young prophet, who is also a guy or a man, this guy is still trying to find himself, but he uses his opportunity as an old prophet, knowing too well that when he speaks, this very particular young man will listen to, but end up manipulating the system to the point that I think what pained me is when he now came out, gave a prophecy to the boy and says, this is what the Lord said, when you know that you are the one who made me to go this very particular route, and yet I'm being blamed and I'm being punished to the point that you were willing to carry carcass back home. I say that very particular story because I know that you're familiar with the story. How then, as a man, understanding that that posture of scripture is there, you are seeing it happening, whether we like it or not, the whole so-called manipulative stuff within the church ecosystem, and permit me to narrow it down to Nigeria.
A whole lot of manipulation.
So how then, when we look at the man ministry in Nigeria as a pastor, what comes to your mind first?
Okay. When I was going into ministry, there's...
You know, when he said, I'm laughing because he said something about him as being, grew up with mother. I asked a question. You know, it's only a woman you ask, what comes to mind first? Yeah. She goes around.
And I'm going around again.
I'm laughing.
I'm still in the process, bro.
It's a man's talk.
Some things are still not out.
Welcome to AfriOne Show.
Thank you for having me.
Now you can continue. When you were growing up, when you started
going into ministry, a pastor said to me, "Be careful of old prophets."
Okay.
That was what he said. There are a lot of things that he said, but that was one thing he said. He said it several times. Be careful of old prophets. Be careful of old prophets. Then it took me to study and understand that, see, a father, okay, there are many pastors, but few fathers.
True.
A father derives joy in the success of the son.
Yeah.
A pastor may not be bothered. So there are a lot of people.
Say it again.
A father derives joy in the success of the son. A pastor may not be bothered. When I say pastor,
I mean a pastor on your own.
I mean someone who is just carrying a title.
Okay.
And not leaving out the office.
I'm just being controversial.
It's part of it. Because I remember I went somewhere and the man of God said something to certain people. He said, all of you here, you are not serious with your destinies. You are taking me for a joke. I'm your father. You are not honoring me as your father. And he said a lot of manipulative things. And when he said that, I knew for a fact that this is not the place I can be. Not to be a member, but this is not someone I would want to be connected to. Why? Because you are not free to express yourself, your authenticity. It must be word for word, hook, line, and sinker. Like, you must be a photocopy of what that man is. And that's not the will of God.
Yeah.
So the manipulation in the body, for every younger person, I would say the first thing you must understand is your destiny is unique.
Okay.
And God places people around you to help give expression to that unique purpose He has for you. So you must try as much as possible on your own. Jacob was left alone and he discovered himself. You definitely will fall for some manipulation here and there, but you must on your own begin to do continuous assessment and reassessment. How was I before I met this person? How am I now? What are the things God has been saying to me? How do I see this person as helping me to get to that place? And you begin to prayerfully connect with people who can help you. But bringing it to the family space, what did God say about Abraham? He said, I cannot hide this thing from Abraham because I know he will instruct his children after him. He couldn't have said that about certain other people, but he knew Abraham had that fatherly heart, because in Abraham's house, he had soldiers that were being trained.
Yeah.
So there are people who can train this current generation and mandate them to train the next generation and perpetuate that legacy.
As you're saying all of that, one question that keeps coming to my head, and I'm trying not to ask, but I'll ask.
Please ask.
Can you pardon me? Thus far in your journey as a Christian, so-called pastor within the fivefold ministry, what has been your biggest pain point in ministry? And if given a chance to solve that, what will it be?
Well,
welcome to AfriOne Show. It's called Men's Conversation, don't worry. Let's talk.
The biggest pain in ministry for me has to do with
when he's thinking about
sacrifices
that
were never appreciated.
Okay, now say it again without me interrupting.
Sacrifices that went unappreciated.
Okay.
And this is what it means, whether you like it or not, as humans, we go all out to do certain things. And then you come back and it's like, and then? It's not painful for personal gain, even though we expect personal gains, we have to be honest. But it's more painful for the fact that it will now take certain years. You come back and say, I wish these people listened.
Okay.
For instance, Jesus came into the town and he wept because he did not recognize their day of visitation. So it was painful to him. Just for instance, God doesn't want anybody to perish. The sacrifice has already been made. Just accept it and you are saved. And you have eternity with God. So it's going to pain God. It's going to pain Jesus. After all of the sacrifices, people still choose to go to hell. So it's a pain. You know what it means when you spend time, you pray, you get a word from the Lord for someone, and you go and say, this is what the Lord is saying. Do X, Y, Z. But say, Pastor Nayon, you they talk so. After you said your own, well, and then you now hear of something that is not pleasant happening to that fellow. It breaks you. It breaks you. Like after all of the fasting, not because of the financial gains or the rewards, but
even though it's needed,
even though it's necessary, it is necessary.
We have to say it because you people just have a way of making it look.
I said it. I said, see, I have to say it. It's not just because of personal gains. Personal gains are there, but personal sacrifices you've made, and the persons whom you've made these sacrifices on their behalf, it's supposed to be for their upliftment. They don't accept it. They don't appreciate it. And then they don't have certain problems in life. I've also been on the other side of not accepting. So that's what I would say to me is
the pain point.
The biggest pain point. Yeah.
And if you were to prescribe a solution to that pain point, what would you like to see?
Bible says, despise not prophesying. Test every spirit. So whatever anybody is saying to you, don't just discard. Process it.
With that being said, let's say, for example, as a man, we have, by default, we are visionaries.
Yeah.
We pioneer stuff and co. I choose to believe that all men are. This is a man's corner. Let me not try and shoot some men who don't, but all men are. When someone, from a standpoint, because I want to talk about spirituality and blending it with the physical life, when someone who wants to find a church to attend, what are the things he needs to look out for? Because you use the word test of spirit. What are the things he needs to look out for in line with his spirituality and also the vision that he wants to achieve?
The first thing you must look out for any church is how close are they to the doctrine of Christ? How close are they to scriptural principles?
But I'll tell you, churches preach Christ now.
No, not like that. And there are ways you can find out how close they are.
Can you give us one? Then anyone they'll consult you for.
When you step into a place, check out for the true joy of the Holy Ghost. There is excitement and there is joy of the Holy Ghost. Excitement shows during the praise and worship and the high moments. But after service, look out for how brethren relate. Then you check out for the liberty of expression, the all-inclusiveness. Because if you step into a place and you're dressed in one way different from the prescribed or the popular attire of that place, Are they going to look at you, give that judgmental look?
Okay.
You come into a place like this and you're having beds and they'll be like, this man is not saved. And you will see that people will just give you some distance. I have an experience. I went to a church one time many years ago. I was wearing a jean trouser with a long sleeve shirt. I even had to tuck it in. And they did this, the place I sat, I was the only person that sat there. I came and I was trying to help them get their equipments and fix things. And they said, no, don't worry. They were not saying no, don't worry because they didn't want to bother me, but because they saw me as one who was not even supposed to be, like a sinner, not permitted to be in the midst of saints. And that's the reason why a lot of people are having problems with churches, because we don't allow that liberty of expression. I was told a story about why a certain particular denomination allows trousers for their members. It wasn't so in the beginning. In the beginning, you don't go into that church with trousers as a lady, and you don't go with your hair not covered as a lady. But something was said to have happened that a certain lady came and she was not dressed according to the dressing code of that particular ministry. And she was trying to tell the usher that it's my first time. And they said, no, you don't, we have a lawyer, you don't step in like that. And as the lady was about leaving the church to cross the road to go home, she was rammed up by a car. She died on the spot.
My God.
And the general overseer of the ministry came and saw the thing and he wept bitterly. And he took that law off. In that ministry today, you can come in like that, but once you are a worker, you now have to, because being a member is the first entry point, being a worker is another level of commitment. So once you're a worker, you must necessarily play by the codes, the dress codes. So check out for the liberty of the spirit.
All right.
Check out for the liberty of the spirit. Check out for that, joy that exudes from their spirit. Because once you are in a place where your spirit is fed, the joy cannot be eaten.
Where is the place of the so-called ministry? Because now, permit me, Nigeria has a lot of great institution when it comes to kernel of ministry. I like saying that Nigeria is the headquarter of spirituality in Africa. But yet we still get
spirituality.
I'm sorry. When I use spirituality, that also include all manners, Christianity, religion, everything and co. But I'm using that one just as a blanket statement and stuff. But narrowing it down to the church, we get to see that, yes, we have Sunday. The whole place is going to be packed.
Yeah.
But we can't then be able to equate that very particular turnaround to economic value. Or not even economic value, but impact in our community. I like saying, it is within the church circle, you see, after you finish preaching, binding the devil and all of those things, you go back home, chances are your landlord is a Muslim. And yet you have just declared that the earth is of the Lord, which is your Father and the fullness thereof, and literally going back home. What is the thing that is the gap between our father's generations of ministry and this generations of ministry, also with the next generation of ministry? What must happen whereby our spirituality in quotes, this is me generalizing, can be able to equate into turning to become an empowerment that can affect the marketplace?
For us to move from, simply put, moving from revival to revolution.
Okay.
For that to happen, we must get discipleship well.
Discipleship in what area? Because we are praying, we are praying, we are fasting, we are binding devil.
I remember when I got saved, I got into church. We did 12 weeks of discipleship. 12 weeks.
12 weeks of discipleship. I'm tempted to
when
ask,
I mean
what are the
discipleship, they are teaching you first what is prayer.
Okay.
How to pray. The benefits of prayer. And you go on a prayer exercise.
Okay.
They are teaching you the word. What's the Bible made of and all of that.
Okay.
They are teaching you the place of quiet time.
Okay.
Personal consecration. All of such topics over 12 weeks. When I say 12 weeks, not just 12 days. 12 weeks. And that's what certain churches today, you do your discipleship class in 1 hour. Trust me, you can't have the same result.
Now, I hear what you said about your discipleship class. After finishing the discipleship class, I choose to believe that you attended that class. That's why for you to know. In the whole of everyone in that class, how has that very particular training empowered or equipped the people to become an impactful generation outside of the church?
Okay. That question,
that's where I'm going to.
The question you asked had two directions. There's a one about the older generation of fathers, and there's the one about
this
generation moving from their spiritual revival into revolution. Now, let's start about this revival first, because if we're going to have success in the marketplace, we must first of all represent Christ, know Christ well enough.
Okay.
Otherwise, we could just go and do business, school, trading, and all of that. But we want to do business in the marketplace with a difference. And that difference is the touch of our spirituality.
Okay.
So if we get it right with spirituality, then we can now move on to relating with people who have been able to bring a very unique bridge between spirituality and productivity. So on one side, the church should go back and do their job well with discipleship first.
Okay.
Otherwise, you have successful businessmen who are very good with fraud, good at defrauding people, and they'll take tithes and offerings to church. And that's not going to bring revolution and a change to the society.
I hear you.
So we must get that right first, discipleship. After discipleship, you can now begin to train people on integrity, on labor, dignity of labor, conceiving ideas, conceiving visions and dreams, actualizing them, and then possibly now have a network.
Like an AfriOne network.
Yes, like an AfriOne network. A network that brings people who have practiced some of the principles taught under your leadership, and they have proofs, who can now be like a model for the younger generation to see that if these guys can make it in business without defrauding anybody, it's possible. And they begin to replicate the principles those guys played by, and you'll have the same result.
I'll pause my guest on this very particular place, and we'll be coming on the final segment where we're going to be talking about all things Nigeria and then also its leadership ecosystem. And also the upcoming one that is going to be something that we're going to talk about also is the bidding for the souls of Nigeria, which is 2027 election coming up. So this very particular final segment on the show, it's going to be Nigeria, politics, business, its environment, its ecosystem. And I'm glad that he is from South Africa because that's where I met him. And so maybe my first question I'm going to throw at you before we go on break is the fact that when you look at Nigeria and South Africa, what's the two difference?
Oh, let's not go there.
That's how we do it on the AfriOne Show, right here with the Afropolitan Apostle, Darlington Steve, and also my wonderful friend, Enike Omoaka. I'll be right back just now as we continue these very particular conversations. Don't forget to subscribe, and also you can call us with the numbers and the email that is currently available on the screen, and let's get talking. It's a men's corner. Welcome back to the final segment right here on your AfriOne Show with the Afropolitan Apostle, Darlington Steve. We're talking about all things Nigeria and also from the men's corner. Today, I'm sitting with my very beloved friend, and we've been together for almost, if I'm not mistaken, closing to a decade. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. That's how much. Literally, I'm just a few months in this country. I give him the rest of my life that side. So with that being said, I said that when you look at Nigeria and South Africa, because I want to start there so that I can be able to peel some certain things. You're living in Nigeria. I met you there. South Africa, I met you there. Now you're in Nigeria. I'm here again to see you again. Chances are I'll still leave you again to another country. I'm just saying it to you now so that when you hear that I'm gone, you are sharp. That's when the Afropolitan in me come. I'm an Africanist. What is the difference for you between Nigeria and South Africa? Let's start there.
Well, let me begin by saying that both countries are blessed.
Okay.
Natural resources, human resources. But we have a problem here of not having the right template.
The right what?
The right template.
Template, okay.
Template to improve on. Now, it's been years after the apartheid era in South Africa. And it's the blacks running the business, running things in South Africa. But the fact that there was a template that was put in place, they've been able to build and continue on that template.
Okay.
Now, in our own case, well, some persons may not agree, but I believe our independence was premature. It came too early. For me, it came too early. It came too early.
That's why I'm hearing that our independence came too early.
It came too early.
So are you saying that the colonization was good, but just that they were fast to leave?
If you look at South Africa as a nation, for instance, with all respect and honor to the founding fathers, those who fought for our independence, if you check countries that we run to, the first world countries, you see order. and the fact that there is already a good template, it becomes easy to maintain and manage that. I have seen some projects that were done by Black South Africans. The fact that there is a template on ground, it's easy to work on it. There are roads that were repaired. There are new roads that were constructed. There are buildings that were put up. And you discover that they can see the old templates. There are certain buildings you drive around town, you can tell that these buildings were built during the colonial era, or maybe immediately after the colonial era. But now, what we see is not what the colonial masters put down as a template.
Okay.
So it becomes difficult. Because now this government comes and he would set aside what the other man has done, come up with his own template. But in Nigeria, there is no structured, solid, unchanging template. Every man does his thing the way he wants to do it. When this government is over now, there are certain projects that the other government started and they've gone quiet on, and they will come up with new ones. For instance, fairness, I'm not a politician, but there are certain things that I think we should have given attention to as Nigeria stands now. Not building some 700-kilometer road
from Lagos to
Calabar. Yeah, it could serve certain things, but the roads that we have now, how much are we putting into making them better? If we put them up, make them better and safer, we cannot begin to think about how to do newer ones. But the ones that are there, because if another government comes, the other government will want to do a legacy program, a project.
True.
And they may, if this one is not completed, they would want to come up with their own template. You can't keep changing the goalpost and expect to score a goal. You must have a goal and keep working on it. There are many streets in UK, in South Africa, they are already patterned. I cannot come now to say, oh, there's an available space here, let me quickly build a shack there. No, you can't. But in Nigeria, you've built a house, they gave an approval, and you look at it, I still have some space. So, and you come and you want to add up some other things without proper approval. I saw some Nigerian guys doing that in South Africa. They buy a property, and the way the property was structured is that this property is not supposed to have more than 2 back rooms. The back rooms that are supposed to be there supposed to be 2, not more than 2. Why? Because that's the plan. That's the template. Yeah. But the Nigerian guy buys the property. Say, oh, these guys are wasting land. And he adds 3 more to make it 5. And that defects the intention. It alters the plan and the template. So in Nigeria, we don't have a working template. We don't have a working template.
When you look at the leadership ecosystem of Nigeria, what is lacking?
We don't understand leadership. We don't understand leadership. So when we talk about leadership template, we don't understand leadership. What we know is rulership. We don't understand leadership.
Wow. No, say it again.
We don't have a leadership template in Nigeria. We know rulership. How to oppress, bring people down. Leadership actually shows you the way and help you get there. Leadership is, there's a vision, there's a destination, and you harness the resources to take everybody there.
We don't have.
God raised Moses, told him about the promised land, and he brought Moses in. Moses came alone. Moses had contact with Aaron and the other people, and he worked out a plan for the children of Israel to move from Egypt to the promised land. When he passed on, it was easy for Joshua to now carry them in. Why? Because there's a roadmap. But in our own case, let's use Nigeria as a case study.
No, but it's very important. We are the giant of Africa, remember.
Okay, you're talking about we are the most populous black nation. I can give that to us. But giant, when you talk about king of the jungle, you're talking about giant, for instance, right?
Okay.
Is the elephant the king of the jungle?
No.
But it has mass, it has size. Let's leave that giant in. Let's leave that giant in.
I know how to get my Nigerians.
Because you see, in South Africa, you are sick, you have fever and all of that. You go to the clinic. the health center, you get treated for free.
Yeah.
Let's not go into certain things.
No, let's go so that Nigerians can hear.
No, let's not go into
Because
certain
remember, the
things.
reason why I'm saying this is because the next thing I'm going to talk about is bidding for the souls of Nigeria coming 2027. Because the reason why it is very important for us to say this, and sometimes when I say it, people think that I just want to blow this country that I came from and all of those things. But forgetting to understand that when we talk, I remember I was saying to somebody, I said, one of the biggest exporting commodity of Nigeria, it's not our crude oil, it's the people.
With the people.
Because you guys have a name you've coined for it, something, Japa.
Jackpot.
You have a name you coin for it, you call Japa and stuff. If we don't talk about this to make our government begin to understand, and this is me looking at the camera, begin to understand that your people are not naive anymore. If you think that in average Nigeria that you are seeing, like he rightly says, we don't have leadership, we have rulership. That's a nice one. Wow. I owe you ice cream for that. We don't have leadership. So if you don't understand as a leader that your people eyes are open, it's not when you think that we came from a cave mentality that maybe you are still stuck into. And it's quite interesting for me whereby the thing is painful. That these guys believe that we have cave mentality, but yet they are exposed because they travel out. You find them that I'm in France. They are in France, they are in Dubai, they are whatever, but they come back. I don't just know what happened at the airport. Well, whatever they've gone to see, then they enter airport, they come back home, and it look as if they never even, leave Ikorodu, and the kind of thing they begin to bring on the table. So I say this in the sense that we have to talk about these things to make the people understand. For example, the healthcare you talked about. If you remember on the show when I started, I talked about healthcare opportunity in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now, the healthcare you talk about, South Africa, you are there, you are sick, you go to the hospital, the clinic, whatever they call it and stuff, you can get free medical services and stuff. Can we guarantee that here? Number one. Number two, you talked about road. The road network in South Africa, it's more highly advanced and stuff compared to Nigeria.
Very good.
You talk about the fact that, I paraphrase it, system. System in South Africa, I said to people, the difference between Nigeria and South Africa is system. Nigeria has no system. South Africa has a system that works. Now, in us beginning to find a solution to this thing, that's why this segment is about Nigeria and its politics. How then do we begin to contend for a good leader coming from us, the people, to determine what happened come 2027? Because whether I would like it or not, I am beginning to drive and I'm seeing posters being posted everywhere for 2027 where we don't even understand what is happening in 2025.
We cannot, like I said to certain people recently, I said, 2027, with what we know about Nigeria and politics in Nigeria, shouldn't be the focus of the opposition, the coalition. It shouldn't be their focus. Because as much as it has to do with the current ruling class, 2027 is a settled matter for them.
What can happen for it not to be a settled matter?
What can happen for it not to be a settled matter would be if it's possible to have everybody's mind. We do a factory reset for the minds of the people. Why? Because can't you see people who are still singing the praises of the current government? A lot of people.
True.
And these people are doing this because they know that if we weaponize poverty, if we scare the people, they will have no choice. People want to come out for protest, and you find the army, you find you find soldiers and the police harassing the people, and everybody will be like, but enter house, or if they kill you, don't die, or nobody die for Nigeria matter. And if the people are eventually killed, who is held accountable? Who is taken? Who? How do you get justice? So 2027 shouldn't be our focus. If we make that our focus, we'll miss out on what we need to do.
Okay.
I think we should have a longer term plan from beginning to reorient the minds of the people about what true leadership is. Because some of the people who are clamoring to get into office now may not be any different. Why? Because we don't truly understand what leadership is. Whether it's the political sector or it's even the spiritual, the religious sector. Leadership is service. And people believe the higher you go, you should be served.
Yeah.
So when you go high, it's easier for, sorry to pastors, but it's easier for a pastor to want to see the members serve them than for them to serve their members. So it's easier to see a political office holder want the people to serve him than he serving the people. He believes that leadership is about status, office, a position, so every other person must come bowing. What did Jesus Christ say about leadership? He told them that, look, the way of the kingdom is different from the way of the world. In the world, they exercise lordship and rulership over their followers. But here, you have to stoop low to serve. So we should start thinking about how to teach leadership from the base level.
From the grassroots.
So that it becomes our culture. It becomes something that we are used to. Because this current crop of, once you are 10 and above, you believe that if I get power, every other person is supposed to be under me. That's why make somebody a local government councillor and see the nonsense he begins to do.
True.
So what happens if that same man becomes the president?
I hear about say it is finished.
It's finished.
So I think one of the things, because my time is running, I'll need to catch up with a lot of stuff. When somebody from your standpoint want to define a Nigerian in Nigeria, what is that definition to you?
Smart, sharp guy.
Expatiate.
Smart, sharp guy. Nigeria, not the doll.
In the words, I think there's also Nigeria they carry.
You see, and it would have been very good if that smartness, it's about positive creativity. I'm not trying to say that Nigerians are not positively creative, but, wrapped either under that creativity is some sort of Jacob's strategy.
I hear the Jacob strategy.
You know the Jacob strategy.
I hear you.
There's this cunningness. And it's everywhere. You come to the church and the pastor has preached powerfully and he has said a lot of things. And he said, I don't like doing this. But the Lord will not let me rest until something from you lays on the altar. Am I against raising money? No, the money is needed for ministry. But you now do it in such a manipulative way to get something from the people. The same thing the politicians do. See, God, I saw a former governor saying something recently that when he was governor, he even spent his own personal money to take care of the state. And I'm like, even devil go shock.
Where did you get that kind of money?
You spent your own money
to take care of the state.
And you did your first term and second term, 8 years as governor. You were spending your money. And then you now went and you are now a senator. I said, one other former governor of a particular state was doing an interview and he was crying. Oh, if people knows how much he loves his people, if only he can just make everybody rich. So why are you crying? You don't have to cry. That's manipulation. Stop being manipulative. Do the right thing. Nigerians, honestly, are not asking for too much.
No, true.
Nigerians are asking for basics. We can take it up from there. Give us security.
Give us electricity.
Give us power. Fix our infrastructure. Let the roads be good. Let there be a regulatory agency that is working to regulate everything. Because Nigerian market is not regulated.
Yeah.
I can choose to determine the price, inflate it when I like, reduce it when I like. Let there be a regulatory agency regulating, checking for quality and pricing.
Price control system or something like that.
They should check. It should be for quality and pricing. You check how much quality. There are a lot of buildings that are collapsing. We hear buildings collapsing. Why? Because there is no agency that is truly checking. Are they following the due process? Are the materials they are using standard materials? Then the pricing. How can you just decide to increase your rent because you say dollar has increased?
Is it concerned dollar? And you built the house 20 years ago.
Everything don't increase. Me, I suppose also increase my rent. let there be regulation so that people can plan their lives where you don't even know. Sometimes as a businessman, in giving quotations, sometimes I ask the person, when do you want to do this work?
Yeah. Because you don't want it to just be a quotation thing.
I don't want to give you a quotation now.
Compare.
And not even about comparing. I can give you a quotation on the first week of June. And by the third week of June, when you want to eventually do it, the market prices have changed. So where do I source the balance, the difference from in delivering your job? So I do like a week or two interval. I project into a week or two in giving my quotation to you. Because I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2-3 weeks. Let them be this.
Did you see the headache of Nigeria? Like you're projecting.
You have to project, of course. You have to.
You have to project.
But in SA, for instance, South Africa, for instance, where we've both been, you can tell. You know that, okay, Albany bread is also amount.
Straight front.
You are not, it stays.
Yeah.
If there's going to be an increase, there is a publication. And it's not something that, okay, it's increased in the month of June. In August, it's increasing again. No.
In August, it might even decrease. I think the last time I checked bread in South Africa was 18 rand. And so,
so let that be, give us security, deal with infrastructures, have agency that are saddled with responsibility to check out for standards, regulate prices, and that's it.
All right, family, I think because my time is literally fast running out, and so I'm trying as much as possible to capture a lot with my guest that is seated here. So I only have, if I'm not mistaken, 7 minutes left. I just actually extended it now. So I need to quickly do some Q&A. But thank you, Tosfa, for the questions. I mean, some of the questions you've answered. A lot is playing in my brain, to be very honest, but the time is quite short. And we've actually done 3 segments literally just now. And I'm going to ask a pop-up question that I'm going to mention either name of a person, name of a place and stuff, whatever comes to your mind immediately, you're going to answer. So it's a pop-up question. I mean, it's a pop-up name I'm going to call, but you are going to answer it based on how you feel concerning that very particular stuff. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
You sure?
Yeah, sure.
Sharp.
Sure.
You sure?
Sure.
That is South Africa. I'm trying to make him to South Africa. All right. When you hear this name, what comes to your mind first? Nelson Mandela.
Freedom fighter.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Can we skip? Can we skip that?
Allowed.
Thank you.
Bishop David Oyedepo.
Ministry. Pastor.
Pastor Paul Adefarasi.
Swagalicious pastor.
It's not normal. Swagalicious pastor. Okay. We're here names Ibrahim Babangida Badamosi.
Military head of state. I'm trying to be very careful.
You see what I say about Nigeria? The moment you go to the carefulness in this country.
It's something else. It's on
fleek. That's the only way I can say it.
The reason is because when you are dealing with people without a conscience, you have to put in
extra thoughts and thinking.
You give yourself sense.
There are
battles that you don't fight head on.
I hear.
Just find a way to
just find a way navigating it.
Because you must be alive to win that.
When you hear the name ministry in Nigeria, what comes to your mind?
Ministry church.
This is Nigeria church.
When you hear ministry, it's a ministry. It's a church or it's a pastor.
There's no ministry in terms of information, business, economy.
Those ones are okay. We have business and we have governmental ministries. Ministry of Health.
No, I hear you, but I'm not saying that by default it's a ministry.
Why is it ministry? Church.
I want this country when I get cruise control. Okay, when you hear the name South Africa, what comes to mind?
People who are hostile. That's the idea people have.
Yeah.
But it's not totally correct. Because when people are aggressive, there must be an underlying factor. There must be a trigger. You can't. These guys have a history. They're coming from somewhere. They've experienced a lot of things, and when people have gone through a season of distrust, you have to learn how to deal with them. I hear you. I just that because history is a Q&A, so I don't want to go too deep on that very particular place.
A lady is currently watching you right now. Okay. And she needs to be able to get your mumu button. What is that? He said he's going to answer. He's already adjusting his seat.
I didn't see it coming. I thought it was everything Nigeria.
I said anything. I told you anything. Yeah. So answer my question. You said it. Because I need to protect my...
Take the question again.
I'm going to take it. And I'm not going to look at you. You see, for the first time. A lady is currently watching you now. I'm watching the camera.
Yeah.
And she needs your mumu button to get into your life. What is it?
Listen to me and understand me.
Listen to you and understand you. Are you saying that ladies currently don't understand you?
No. Most ladies listen to respond.
Listen to what?
To respond.
Not listening to understand you.
To understand.
Ladies, do you hear yourself, Nick?
And, not only ladies, even guys do it too. But
okay.
If we listen to people to understand them, it will be very easy to have them on the bottom. Like if I understand you now, if I listen to you, I hear you, I know your thought, I know your heart about it. Even when you shout, I know that, okay,
it's not from a negative.
It's not from a negative. So if we listen to people to understand them, you will definitely have them on the bottom. If I keep saying, you don't respect me, and you listen to me, not to say that I'm saying you are a rude person, but you may now ask, that will now lead you to a question or observation. What is respect to this man? Because what is respect to you may not be respect to me.
100%.
For you, respect may be when you come home, she kneels down to welcome you. For another man, respect may be that, okay, keep me posted on any decision you want to take and let me decide for you. There are people who their wives don't have to kneel down and they are comfortable.
I'm number one.
You know, but some other people, your knees must touch the ground. So if the man is that type of a person and you're with that type of a man, and you say, no, Mrs. A, the husband doesn't want her to kneel down. Conflict. And also for a woman, what makes a woman tick may not, this lady tick may not make the other lady tick. So we need to listen to each other to understand each other.
All right, I think because my time is really fast spent and I'm enjoying conversation. I think when you have your friend and you know them, it's quite difficult. But at least I try in terms of pulling up.
And maybe next session I'll also have questions for you.
I'm glad
because I couldn't ask any question today. I couldn't ask any question today.
It was intentional.
We would have.
It's my show. When you come to your show, you will
have other conversations and I'll ask questions. A lot to be said.
All right, now I know that you're into the property space, whereby you are into furniture designing and stuff. Cool. Now that's your camera. Sell yourself within the next 1 minute.
Okay.
In the next 10 seconds you have.
Like you already know, my name is Enike Omoaka, and I am the owner of Neptis Resources. We look into technology, fashion, furnishings, imports and exports. But let's deal with the furnishings aspect for now, the technologies aspect. I do furnitures, everything furnitures, and everything interior design and decorations. And the technology space, we are looking at, the import of laptops and other gadgets, because there's a growing market for tech in Nigeria, and we must be able to find a place to sell in that regard. And gradually we're moving into agricultural technology because the future will require agriculture. There's a big market for agriculture in the future. So we're looking at also moving into that space in the near future. But what we do now is everything furnishings from the creation.
How can people find you?
Okay, it's very easy. Just go on my page, Enike Omoaka.
Which of the page you communicate easily with?
The Facebook page.
Yeah, just go to Facebook page. Because I like asking that. Because if you go to the page, then you go and send a message on TikTok and you're not going to respond.
The Facebook page.
Facebook page. And so that's the thing. But family, thank you so much for coming to AfriOne Show. I hope I'm not too difficult. I didn't break the brother code.
You put me on the hot spot.
I didn't break the brother
code. On the spot.
I'm sorry, don't report me to the lab.
We are fine. Okay. We'll deal with it in-house.
And family, that's how we come to the end of this very particular segment, and I believe that you all enjoy this men's corner. If you want to be on the show, please, you can use the emails and the number that is currently available on the screen. Let's talk all things men. One of the things that I've come to understand is the fact that men are currently dying in silence. And it's our responsibility for us to find a way of how to make them come alive. We have a lot of empowerment program that is going on for women, and yet nobody, or almost close to what my guest says, only few people are literally empowering the women, the men's side of things. So my prayer is to see that one day we wake up and we find that our men are still alive, not forgotten, but still active. With that being said, I remain your host, the Afropolitan Apostle, Darlington Steve, right here on the AfriOne Show. I'll see you on the subsequent editions of the program. Please don't forget to subscribe on all of our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, as it's called. Everything is just the AfriOne Show. And for those of you who wants to actually pitch your ideas for funding opportunity, I want to indulge you to please visit invest.afrione.africa. And for those of you who wants to list your property, you can actually check us out at property.afrione.africa. With that being said, I'll see you on the next segment. Remember, this is your country. We have to contribute to our best interests. With that being said, in contributing, always have a second passport in case if you have to. Bye for now. God bless you. Hello, my AfriOne family. I'm so excited today to be on your screen wherever you're watching it from. I want to say thank you. And also to the followers and the subscribers, I want to say thank you to you all and to my beautiful guests who have graced me in this 1 year sitting on this very particular platform. I want to say thank you under the umbrella of AfriOne Show. So today, quickly, I'm here to just talk to you about two new products that we have released. One of them is known as the AfriOne Property. Can't blame me. I like my AfriOne network. And the second one is known as AfriOne Invest. And the first one, AfriOne Property, and the second one, AfriOne Invest. I want to encourage you, please. Are you a property owner, or maybe you're an agent, or you are a startup and you're looking for a platform for you to be able to put your properties? I want to encourage you, please, now go visit property.afrione.africa for you to get registered and also for you to start listing. You never can tell. You might be sitting with me here on this very particular table as we're going to be talking about all things property. And also on the second side of things, for those of you who are business people, you are intending to start your own business and you want to check how the market is. You want to see if your ideas are going to fly. Or maybe for you, you are literally at a stage where you need to scale, but you need funding. With AfriOne Invest, it's a crowdfunding platform where people come and put their ideas and put your stuff with a possibility of either giving an equity out or probably a stake, or maybe you're looking for a partner or just a seed investor, or maybe for you just want to crowdfund people who just like your idea, just want to give you seed for you to be able to run your business. I want to encourage you also, please visit invest.afrione.africa. Invest.afrione.africa. I look forward also for me to sit with you all, either on the property side, on the business side, which is the invest side, for us to just talk about all things property and all things business. Thank you so much. Please explore this very particular website and tell us what is your experience. And definitely we're trying as much as possible for us to get all kinds of different stakeholders within the property space and also within the investment space. So if you're watching me currently and you know that you're a professional in any of this very particular field that I've mentioned right now, why don't you hit us on an email? The email is currently available on the screen, and let's get talking. You never can tell. Your idea, your skill, your coaching and your mentorship program might help somebody to be the next business tycoon in Africa. I'll see you on the flip side in you making money with us. Bye for now. Thank you.